what can you do to actually gain an audience really fast? Grow your email list really quickly. What can you do? Okay, so what we're going to be talking about today is called a summit. Okay, and a summit can be used. I actually love, there's a few different ways you can use these, actually a lot of different ways, but the traditional way is, I'm just going to kind of go into a story to kind of illustrate this, because I think it'll really help you. So back in the day, having 5 kids, it can be challenging, putting kids to bed, right? And a lot of other things. But I remember for me, that was really difficult, is just putting the kids to bed and not getting upset, right? Sometimes they're just bouncing off the walls and they're going all crazy and you're just like, you don't know what to do. And sometimes I would just like lose it, like blow a fuse and just yell at them for not laying down or just whatever. And it's like so silly. Like, why must I do that, right? But I remember really learning a lot more about personal development, and it really like changed how I was as a parent. And it was so fulfilling to change and to see how I could really control and change myself, right? And so I remember just having this, this is a much longer story than we'll go into today, but essentially I decided that I was really going to help parents. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to put on a summit, essentially what I want to do is I want to help a lot of parents, and I want to get in front of a lot of different people, right? But I didn't have an audience, right? I had like hardly any people that were following me, a tiny email list with like maybe 10 people or something on it. And so I was like, well, what can I do? Like, is there anything that I can do to get in front of people? I want to share this message. I want to grow my business, but like, I don't have an audience. I don't have like that expert status that people are looking at. Oh, you have a PhD, and oh, you've written this book. But it's like, I have these things that I've learned that I can share, right? And so I remember what I did is I heard this idea of a summit. Okay, so I was like, so what is a summit? First time I heard it, and I remember, hearing about how it's essentially just a series of interviews, right? But what you do is you bring together experts in a given field for whatever you're doing, and you interview them, right? And then you put on an event, right? You put on this summit, right? Where people can typically for free, while it's live, they can opt in for free. They can get access to the interviews, watch them for a few days, and then they no longer get access, and they can upgrade to, have all-time access or whatever, have some other bonuses and things like that. But the idea is to essentially bring together these speakers that can help promote this event, right? And then you can have this really cool event because there's all these different speakers that are bringing people together that are already interested in the topic, right? And so it can be a really powerful, event. And it's great for the speaker or the expert, because they can then get in front of a lot of other people. Because if you say, typically what happens with the summit, you have, between 10 and 30 speakers that you bring on. And so if each of them has 10,000 followers on their email list or maybe more, then, that's potentially 100 to 300,000 people that might see about this, right? And so it's kind of cross promoting. But then for the summit host, it's really, really powerful too, because you can grow your email list really, really quickly, right? You can have people promote what you help promote this event because they're a part of it and something that they want to do. And it's a great way to be able to provide value up front. So I heard about this. I heard this coach talking about it, and I was like, that sounds interesting. And they challenged us to do something within 30 days, right? Like pick some sort of event or, thing that you're going to do. And for me, I was like, yeah, that summit sounds pretty awesome, right? And I remember just like sitting there thinking, man, okay, so let's do this summit thing. I mean, it sounds pretty straightforward. I know, what it means. But again, I had this struggle where I wasn't known, within kind of parenting experts, right? Like no one knew who I was, and how was I going to go and do this? But I had this idea that I was like, okay, I want to put on this summit for the summer to be able to really help people gain, some skills about how can you be a better parent? How can you find more joy yourself? And what are some of the things the experts are saying, right? And so I decided to put this on, and I'll go through all the details of actually setting that up. but I went out and got these interviews, right? And I put it on, and it was really kind of hectic because I did it, within a month. And there's a ton of things that I've learned and I would totally do different, and that I am doing different in my next summit that's coming up, which is gonna be fun. But so it was I'm going through this process, and I finally put it together, right? I get all the interviews done, we launch it, and we had, I think it was like 100 people come, and which, was really, really small. Like, there was so many things that I did wrong in this situation. But it was really interesting though, because all of a sudden I had, relationships with these experts, right? Like, it was crazy how just putting on an event allowed me to really kind of elevate my status so quickly, right? It wasn't like, oh, I had to go write this book and then share it with all these people and then, go get a PhD. Like, I didn't, and, but it was something I put on this event, and I'm interviewing these people and sharing, what I know and the frameworks and the things that I've learned. And then, people, again, like, I had that relationship with the summit experts that I brought on, right? But then even within, the community that I had as well, very similar thing, that everyone is like, oh, wow, like, they love what I was doing, and they love the different things that I was teaching and that I was talking about. And so it was really a quick way to be able to, grow your email list, to gain credibility with the guests, the experts, and then also with the actual, people in my market, right? And it's just like, it was such a good experience for me to go through. And again, it was pretty difficult to do the first time around when you don't know what you're doing and you're kind of, guessing at some things. But it really was a super powerful, way to be able to grow my business in that way. And again, I know so much more now about, number one, making sure that people are actually promoting. We didn't have as much, help in promoting that I should have, kind of help people with. I just kind of felt bad. It was like, oh, so close. I was like, oh, I don't want to like push them into it. But, giving myself some more time would have been really, really powerful, really helpful. And then, there was just, I think the kind of the structure of the event as well, like how I planned it. Just, I didn't really have my goals super set on what I actually wanted to do. And so it didn't turn out as well as I would have hoped. But again, summits, they can, 5,000 people, 10,000 people, like, they can be huge as far as how many people actually attend. But then there's many, many more that actually get to hear about it. But it's a really, really powerful way to be able to gain, credibility, and kind of, get known really, really quickly, in a very short period of time. And so, like I mentioned, I'm actually putting on another summit, which, Kim Vopny and I were doing. And so it's going to be for pelvic floor, business owners, and those that really help women with postpartum issues. Like, that's our, the business owners and the people that are actually helping women in that way. That's who this summit is for. And so it's called the Pelvic Impact Summit. It's going to be at the end of January. Super excited about that. But anyways, it's just like, we have way more time to help plan for it. And now we've like structured it all out in a lot different way, just to take people on a journey, right? We're going to help people to see, day one. I don't want to spoil it all, because I want you to come. But I just, we're kind of taking people through this journey, and then able to really, provide a lot of value, because it's all about, how do you grow your business in that way? So I'm super pumped about that. It's gonna be a lot of fun, but that's something I encourage you to do. If you don't feel like you have an audience, or you want to get a big boost, a summit is a huge way to do that. Like I mentioned, there's a lot of different ways too you can do it. You can do it through a summit challenge as well, which is basically the same type of thing, but you put a challenge aspect behind it as well, and typically space it out a little bit more. And, again, I don't want to get into any of the details here, but yeah, it's super, super powerful, and definitely something I recommend everybody should do to grow their business. So I hope that helps, and